So I recently got a comment on one of my videos saying that this guy had been inspired by me to try Zercher deadlifts and he nearly got a hernia pulling 225 that way. And I was really cool with the first part. I want to inspire people to try new things. That's what this whole thing is about. Not so much the next part. I'm not trying to get people injured, so I wanted to make a quick video explaining my strategies to avoid injury. Because really and truly, you shouldn't be at any more risk getting injured doing the exercises that I'm showing you than anything else. And I'll give you some ways to even be less likely to get injured doing this stuff. So the first tip, and this should go for any kind of exercise, start with the empty bar, or in some rare cases even less than the empty bar. Start extremely light with any new exercise. Learn how it feels for you and build a personal relationship with that exercise, as weird as it sounds. You want to learn how it works for you, feel how far you need to push it, feel if maybe you don't need to push it anymore, feel if it's the sort of exercise that you need to be maxing out on, or if it's something that you should just train but not max on. Some examples of exercises that I personally have found I don't need to max on or don't feel like something I should ever max on: Jefferson curls and 2-arm Zercher deadlift. Now, getting back into that personalized relationship, building a relationship with the 1-arm Zercher deadlift, that feels like something I can push, because I feel like the point of failure is just going to be my lats and my arms' ability to hold in the weight. That's going to be the failure point. It's not putting any undue stress on my back. Worst case scenario, I'm just not going to be able to hold on to the bar and it falls. Versus the 2-arm Zercher deadlift, that feels like I could definitely put my low back in a dangerous situation if I maxed out on it, so I don't. Now, I do train, moderately heavy with it, but 315 is the heaviest I've gone. I'm good with that. I've seen some people doing really heavy weights, maxing out. Maybe that's fine for them. But for me personally, what I found working that exercise is it's probably not something I need to max on. And that's something only you can figure out. You can't just take my word or anybody else's word for it. You have to build that personalized relationship with the exercise. Now, on the flip side, you also have to be willing to let exercises go. When you get stale in a particular exercise, when progress slows or comes to a halt, you can't be emotionally invested in that one particular exercise. You can't let that be the one exercise that you have to be setting PRs every week no matter what. When it stops working, you have to be willing to just ditch it and move on to a new exercise. And this is a big part of why I think including all the exercises that I use is a way to prevent injury. A lot of people that are stuck in the squat, bench, and deadlift, maybe overhead press occasionally mentality, just get really invested in those big 3 lifts, and they're just so reluctant to try something new that they keep injuring themselves, just hammering the same areas over and over again with the exact same exercises. Your body needs a break from that eventually. And it's a lot easier to convince yourself to take that break if you have a bunch of other cool exercises waiting in the wings that you get to try out. I mean, it's all, in some cases, when I get stale on a particular exercise, it's almost fun, because I have so many other cool things that I've been wanting to experiment with. I just wanted to keep going with that exercise, as long as I was getting gains off it, For example, I felt like I probably don't need to be pushing the floor press too much harder, so now I'm doing 2 hands anyhows, and that's really fun. So, adding that variety is actually a great way to prevent injury, because you're not just beating the same things over and over again to stoke your ego. The final way that incorporating a lot of variety and old-time lifts into your training is going to help you prevent injury is that you're going to be balancing your physique. A lot of injuries come because you're overtraining one area and undertraining something else. Maybe you're getting too much front delt, not enough rear delt, something of that nature. Now, a lot of these old-time overhead lifts are really good at balancing out the shoulders and avoiding the shoulder injuries that are very common in people that mostly bench press and maybe do overhead press as an afterthought. I mean, there are also parallels for the back and legs. And also, increasing your range of motion that you can actually use with weight. That's going to keep you from getting injured when you get into a range of motion that maybe you haven't trained before. If you've trained pretty much every range of motion possible, then you have at least some preparation for anything that you find yourself in. So with those tips, basically starting out really light with anything you do and working up, learning how that exercise feels for you, not being emotionally attached to any one exercise, being willing to branch out and progress on other exercises when one goes stale, and using a balanced variety of exercises to make sure your physique gets balanced, I think you'll actually be safer from injuries when you use some of the exercises that I've been showing. And that's really important because I want everybody watching this to have a long, productive career. I want you to stack productive workout after productive workout and grow, and you can't do that if you're injured. So use common sense, but don't be afraid to try new things because they'll actually help you. Thanks for watching.